One of the bigger storylines from the start of the NBA season has been the disappointing play of the Knicks, as not only is a team sitting at 2 and 4 to start the season following their loss to the Bucks last night, but arguably their biggest star, Julius Randle, has had one of the worst starts to the season I've honestly ever seen from an all-NBA level player. Typically, we see Randle have excellent performances in the regular season before falling apart in the playoffs, but so far this season, he's been just flat out terrible on both sides of the ball and has arguably been the biggest reason for the Knicks' slow start to the year. In today's video, I'm going to be taking a look at Julius Randle's horrific start to the season and what the Knicks can do to help solve the issues he's created. If you like this content, please remember to like and subscribe. I'm trying to reach 500 subscribers by the halfway point of the NBA season, and any support with that is greatly appreciated. With that out of the way, let's get into it. So, as a Knicks fan, I've been a first-hand witness to all of Randle's shortcomings since he signed with the team back in 2019, and despite this, he still managed to put together a really impressive career with New York, making 2 All-Star and All-NBA teams in 4 seasons and leading the Knicks to the playoffs in both of those years. However, something that's been common is the way that he'll have a bad season, followed up with a great one, and then go right back to being bad again, and so far it really seems like this could be the case once more. During his first season with the Knicks, Randle was a fine player statistically, but watching him play showed that he was anything from a positive. He was a complete liability on defense, couldn't shoot, and was an overall massive black hole on offense. The following season, though, Randle turned everything around and had what was by far the best season of his career, averaging 24 points, 10 rebounds, and 6 assists on 45% from the field and 41% from 3 on 5 attempts. Despite this All-NBA season from Randle, he completely fell apart in the playoffs against the Hawks, averaging 18, 11, and 4 on 29% from the field and 33% from 3 on 6 attempts, and it was pretty clear that Atlanta had figured him out. They were trapping him in the mid-range and forcing him to take difficult shots, and he simply couldn't adjust to it. The following season, teams were doing more of what the Hawks did and completely shut him down all season, as he posted a career low in field goal percentage and completely fell off from 3, hitting just 30% of his shots from range on around the same amount of attempts as the season prior. Not only was Randle not the same, but the Knicks in general were terrible as well, finishing with a record of 37 and 45 and completely missing the playoffs. However, after signing Jalen Brunson the following season alongside a couple of other moves, the Knicks looked the best that they have since the Carmelo Anthony era, and Randle had, again, arguably his best season yet. During this campaign, Randle averaged a career high in points at 25, alongside 10 rebounds and 4 assists, while shooting 45% from the field and 34% from 3 on 8 attempts. Things weren't perfect from him, but the addition of Jalen Brunson really did wonders for alleviating pressure off of Randle as both a scorer and playmaker. Like I said, the Knicks were playing the best that they had in nearly a decade and were ready to enter the playoffs looking to upset the Cavaliers. And while they did this, it was not because of Julius Randle. Not only did he fall apart in this series, but he did about the same against the Heat in round 2, playing a massive role in the Knicks' downfall during this series. In the playoffs last year, Randle averaged 16 points, 8 rebounds, and 3 assists, while shooting 37% from the field and 25% from 3 on 6 attempts. The same issues that held Randle down in previous seasons killed him once again against the Cavs and Heat. He was forcing too many difficult shots while trying to find a rhythm and was a huge problem on defense. Despite all of this, I was still somewhat excited for Randle and the Knicks entering this season, but so far, they've done nothing to prove that they've improved at all. There has been some bright spots like RJ Barrett's incredible start to the season and Jalen Brunson's most recent 45-point performance, but despite this, the Knicks are still at 2 and 4, and a big portion of this falls back on Randle. Calling Randle's start to the season bad is honestly a massive understatement. Through the first 6 games, Randle's averaging 13 points, 10 rebounds, and 5 assists per game, while shooting 27% from the field and 22% from 3 on 6 attempts. Is Randle the only problem with the Knicks? No, not at all, and honestly, he's far from it. Even Jalen Brunson has looked pretty sketchy at times to start the year, but regardless, this is a historically bad start from Randle, to the point where I genuinely don't know what the Knicks can do about it. It's not like they have a real option at power forward over him in the starting lineup, considering that they traded Obi Toppin this offseason, and they never really managed to replace him, and even if the Knicks didn't trade him, looking at top and start to the season, he wouldn't be a much better option. The problem with Randle this season isn't just that his shots aren't falling, it's that he's continuing to force them when they aren't, and it's causing some massive issues for the Knicks offense. While in his first 2 games of the season, Randle made up for a lack of scoring by being a big playmaking force for the Knicks, he's since gone back to being a complete black hole on offense. Overall in the season, the Knicks have an offensive rating of 104, point differential of -1.5 with Randle on the floor, which is in the 15th and 42nd percentile respectively. However, with him off the floor, the rating goes up to 109 and the point differential skyrockets to 6.3. While it's comparing shit to ass, it's still pretty clear that the offense this season has been a good bit better with Randle off the floor, which is pretty easy to see when watching film. Like I said before, Randle's been forcing his shots a ton this season, which is something that he honestly does a lot regardless. However, the difference between this and last season is that his shots were falling in 2022. And this is honestly what can make Randle such a fun, yet frustrating player to watch at the same time. When his shots are falling, there honestly aren't many more players more entertaining to watch than him. But when Randle's shots aren't falling, there's probably not an uglier brand of basketball in the NBA other than maybe like last season Dillon Brooks. Unfortunately for the Knicks and my eyes, his shots haven't fallen at a consistent rate at all this season, which has caused a lot of negative attention to fall onto Randle. If the Knicks had a better record, I could live with these ugly games, but a large reason as to why the Knicks haven't been winning is Randle himself. To put things into perspective, 3 of the Knicks' 4 losses this season have been decided by 6 or less points. That being when they lost to the Celtics by 4 and Randle shot 5 of 22, a 6-point loss to the Cavaliers where he shot 3 of 15, and the Knicks' most recent 5-point loss to the Bucks where Randle shot 5 of 20. So literally, if he could just hit 2 to 3 more of his 15 to 20 shot attempts, the Knicks very well could be 5-1 instead of 2-4. Obviously, basketball isn't as simple as that, but honestly, that's a coping mechanism I'm going to choose to use for now. Overall, a lot has been going wrong for the Knicks, so I'm not going to blame everything on Randle, but there's no doubt that he's had a big role in the team's downfall so far. Unfortunately though, there's not much that the Knicks can really do about this right now, and they're likely just going to have to wait and see if his shots start falling. If this happens, things can start going very well for the Knicks again. But with that being said, I'm going to wrap things up here. If you enjoyed the video, please remember to like and subscribe so I can hit 500 subs before the halfway point of the NBA season. Let me know in the comments below what you think the Knicks should do about Julius Randle. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see y'all in the next one.